to make it, you need to understand the system.
Sure.
Right. The system in accounting is specific. There's a certain way in which you need to be able to address problems and really do your work. And the syllabus is designed in such a way that you've got to be disciplined. It's not necessarily about, am I smart enough, because I've seen a lot of smart people not make it. And I've seen people who are not smart make it.
Okay, this is it. This is the student plug where we talk everything student support and development. And yet again, I think you are the first person to make a comeback on this show, Mshunqane.
I mean, I enjoyed the show the first time and it seemed like it's taken off, a lot of people have come in. So really, really like what you're doing there, Ben. I think a lot of the students as well, they're finding a lot of value. So maybe that's why I came back. I was like, okay, might as well.
So today I have a Xhanti, Mshunqane, with a suffix of CASA, and the suffix is very much important, So, so you've just qualified as a chartered accountant. How was that?
I get that a lot, Ben. You're not the first one to ask that question. The other time I was at an event at Wits, and then I had the privilege of meeting a lot of students who were aspiring to be chartered accountants.
Yeah.
And I could see the way they were looking at me. Is like, is this guy breathing differently? Does he eat? And the reality is that I used to ask those same questions when I was at their stages. What's different with these CA guys, or girls? Are they different? Or what's happening? But the reality is that we're human beings, just like everyone else, just grateful and really blessed that I was able to qualify. It's not an easy journey. So, I'm just, working my way up, so to say, and becoming experienced within my own career. It feels fantastic, man, just to reach the dream that you had aspired to get. And I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what is how does one end up being a chartered accountant? And I'm just curious here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good question. So usually it's a 7-year journey, give or take. I say give or take because it really depends on factors, and could be more sometimes, but. So essentially, you need to go in first and do your undergrad qualification, usually selecting a BCom equivalent sort of junior degree, specializing in chartered accountancy. So they're all named differently. Other institutions will call it BCom, bachelor, it really depends. Then you do your CTA the following year. And then after that, you go into your training articles, and really, you need to go to a registered sort of office that could be in public practice, like auditing, or outside of public practice. So you're talking about your banks and your other financial institutions. You do your 3-year articles, and then during those 3-year articles, you write your 2 professional exams, one immediately after you finish CTA, then one towards maybe your 2nd year or 3rd year of articles. And then after you've signed off on your competencies during your articles, and you've basically passed both of those exams, you're then eligible to register. And then, the rest is sort of like administration, and eventually you will qualify as a CA. Yeah, that's the nutshell of how you get there.
There was a student who from the Wits CSIF who is doing accounting, and the other day they walked up on me and they asked me about accounting. I think they thought I was doing accounting. It means that I looked the accounting part.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So they asked me about do you have any strategies on how you can pass the CTAs and this ITC? I think they said something like that. And I was like, no, I'm not doing accounting. But I know there is Gift Movie, there is you, and there is Timbole Musoma. And I call you guys the Tripartite Alliance because I feel like you guys have mastered, this CA route. Like it seems like you guys have the recipe. What is the recipe?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, Ben. Well, it's part of the things I usually talk to students about. If you recall, when I initially spoke, even on this platform, we spoke a lot about strategies.
Yeah.
I usually say, to make it, you need to understand the system.
Sure.
Right. The system in accounting is specific. There's a certain way in which you need to be able to address problems and really do your work. And the syllabus is designed in such a way that you've got to be disciplined. It's not necessarily about, am I smart enough, because I've seen a lot of smart people not make it. And I've seen people who are not smart make it. So it clearly shows that you need to have a strategy in place. So at the core is actually knowing how to learn. And then from there, you then need to adapt to the system, be comfortable to be uncomfortable, learn. Every year has its own sort of challenges.
Sure.
Like as you go up. So you need to understand, how do I beat that year? Get the strategies for that specific year, and then be comfortable to be uncomfortable, implement, and really then, give it all your best. And then you will definitely get it. So the gentleman you spoke about, I believe that's how they made it as well. Understanding the system and then really getting the right strategy in place to do well. Yeah.
But what are those strategies, Mshunqane? I mean, you have been through the journey. What are some of those strategies that you used in accounting specifically?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, right? I mean, times have changed now, and I'm fortunate that I'm still mentoring in my own personal capacity. I've got students that I'm currently mentoring who are in all different spheres of the CA journey. Some doing ABC, some still doing undergrad. But so the system has changed, but the fundamentals haven't, right? So what do I mean by the fundamentals? You need to understand what you're doing, right? So at the core of being a CA is understanding why you're doing things. That's important. And really, how you get that understanding, you need to approach learning differently. Don't look at learning as a means to an end. Appreciate that I'm actually learning a skill here. That means, number one, you can't be under pressure, right? That's the biggest thing. How do you learn a skill when you're putting yourself under pressure? So the first thing is that, get ways to alleviate the pressure. And what helps is that, number one, engage with your lecturers, engage with your tutors. You need to do that. Go to classes, right? If you're not going to go to class, you're going to spend tens and even hours, trying to cram a book that not even your lecturers have actually read, And then I say this a lot because people want to learn books the whole weekend, and then really you even retain 20% of that information. There's no point in doing that. So go to your classes, engage, ask questions. Why do I need to know this? Where is the trigger? How do I need to know that this is applying in the exam? Then take those tools, go immediately and relearn the information in your own words within a short space of time. I usually call it the 24-hour rule. Very important. Try to learn the information within 24 hours from the first contact session. Then immediately what you want to do is you want to go straight into the questions, do all of the questions, if not most of them. It's important because we are problem solvers, just like any other profession. CAs are problem solvers. You can't solve a problem by reading a textbook alone. And unfortunately, when the exam comes, or fortunately, they're going to ask you to solve problems. So the only way you get that problem solving is by doing questions. So literally, you need to do all your tutorials and then, put artificial pressure on yourself every week. I used to call it the Monday rule, Tell yourself that if I were to write this test the following Monday, would I be in a position to write? And the answer should always be a yes. That's the type of pressure you need to put yourself in every single week. So that by the time that it's time to write the exams, number one, you followed the entire learning process. And the learning cycle just starts from the moment you were being lectured in the classroom, or, you've watched your videos, because things have changed now,
Sure.
Ben. I mean, people watch videos.
Sure.
That's the same process. Then you need to go and learn that information within a short space of time, preferably within 24 hours from your first interaction. Then you need to do all of the questions. And as you do the questions, do them under exam condition. That's important. Then understand why you got things wrong within those questions. Consult, and then pretend as if you're going to write a test for that specific topic for that week, the following Monday. If you do that consistently every week, by the time lectures are over, you are actually prepared to do the exam. And then during that so-called study break, you're only going to do those difficult questions that are there. Trust me, if you do that, this has nothing to do with how smart you are. You just have to be disciplined enough to know that I have to do this. I have to watch the videos, study within 24 hours, do the questions, consult, pretend as if I'm writing a test every Monday, make sure that I'm up to date. And if you do that for a period of time, by the time you write the exam, you will be prepared.